everyone. Thank you for attending this Digital Twin Consortium webinar, The Business Value of Digital Twins for Airport Operations, presented by representatives of the DTC Mobility and Transportation Working Group. And now is my great pleasure to introduce our speakers today. Our moderator is Doug McLeory, and he is the Senior Digital Twin Consultant of Digital Twin Consulting. Isaac Benzaken is the Airport Industry Solution Director at Dassault Systems. Kelly Watt is the co-founder and senior consultant, digital transformation, digital twins of Digital Twin Consulting. Mike LaFontaine is the deputy county surveyor of Orange County Public Works and Geospatial business unit manager at John Wayne's Airport. And now over to you, Doug.
Thank you, Kayla. We have a lot to go through today in a short period of time, so the slide deck will be available for download after the presentation. I'll start off with an introduction that includes just a quick overview of the value drivers of digital twins. I'll share some key insights from an airport survey that we conducted, and part of that survey was assessing the current maturity level of airports and their digital twin journey. I'll then pass it over to Isaac that'll elaborate on aspects of system thinking and a system of systems approach to value creation. And then he'll be joined by Kelly and Mike to answer questions about digital twin implementations within airports. As Kayla had shown on one of her slides, Digital Twin Consortium has a definition of a digital twin, which is a virtual representation of real-world entities and processes that are synchronized with their physical counterparts. So with that definition of a digital twin, where it's referring to entities, an entity can be anything. It can be an elevator within an airport, can be an entity, and you can create a digital twin of an elevator and realize value of that digital twin. But the true value and exponential value of digital twins is when you start to gradually create digital twins of all the interconnected systems within an airport, where that aggregate digital twin really is a representation of the airport as a business. And that digital twin is then able to provide contextual understanding, which drives predictions of future states, which then drives decisions and actions that can optimize business outcomes. And that's really where the true value is for any business and for airports. Part of our research was a collaboration with Building Smart to survey airport operators, owners, and consultants with a comprehensive set of questions that assess their current journey on digital twin implementations, but also included assessments of adoptions of supporting technologies and systems and building information modeling, BIM, and GIS, and which is geospatial information systems. The key point is three words in those is information, modeling, and systems are part of BIM and GIS, and we'll get to the significance of that in a minute. So there were quite a few questions. There were 70 respondents to the survey. Those respondents represented over 20 airports. One of the questions that was asked is about significant challenges that are being experienced by the airports in implementing digital twins. And the top responses were about the quality of data and the cost of implementing a digital twin. And I would suggest that a lot of the costs that are perceived to be associated with digital twin are actually associated with getting data to a state where it's of adequate quality to where a digital twin could actually use it and provide value. So I think a lot of the costs and the foundational requirements of a digital twin have to do with data governance. Another question that was asked is, what milestones have you achieved thus far in your digital twin journey? And top responses were, again, creating utilizing BIM and GIS information as the foundations for providing that contextual understanding that's a digital twin can provide. So I think those are really where everybody is starting, is on the BIM and GIS implementations and systems that would then support a digital twin. Another question was about where you think your current maturity level is with your implementation of digital twin technology. And nearly half of the respondents indicated they're really at the beginning stages of that. But then there's a good portion that are beyond beginning and more into the maturing stage. And there's a little bit of a slice of the pie that's associated with advanced levels of maturity. And it's those airports that are at that advanced stage where a lot of learnings can take place, that will help those that are just starting that journey understand where to go to minimize risk, cost, and time to value. And we will be including some of those insights from those advanced implementations within our white paper. One of the key parts of our white paper is really describing a digital twin maturity model that can help airports understand where they currently are in maturity level. And you can be at a level of maturity 1 for certain aspects and a level of maturity at 3 for others. But it helps you provide a starting point from where you are and where you can go next. And foundational to this maturity model is a common data environment. And that also has maturity associated with it. But a key part of being successful with digital twins and minimizing technical debt is to have that common data environment in place. There's a lot of information here that will be detailed further in the white paper. We don't have time to go through it in detail at this point, but the goal is at a level 5 to be able to include all of this, the stack of capabilities, from more basic capabilities to very advanced capabilities to get to a state of autonomy. A capability value matrix is a useful tool to help you plot out the capabilities that you are thinking about incorporating that all have effort associated with them in terms of time and cost, but then there's value, either cost reductions, increase in revenue, addressing sustainability goals. So by utilizing a matrix like this and plotting out those capabilities, and every airport will be different based upon where they currently are and what their needs are, you can set yourself up with a fairly good roadmap of where to go next, where you can focus on the least amount of effort to give you the highest amount of return, and then build on that. And knowing that each of the capabilities that you implement could be a foundational capability for a more advanced capability, which is shown up here, where you have a capability is not siloed. They're interconnected, and they work together to create a value stream. So this becomes a useful tool also for taking a system of systems approach to accelerating value creation. I'll turn it over to Isaac.
Thank you, Doug. So an airport can be seen as a system of systems. You have the checking service, you have the TSA, you have the boarding, and all these services that airports provide are interconnected, which create a system in which describe the passenger journey within the airport. As you can understand, that the system description is also describing your airport operation model. So as you can see in the pyramid, one of the definition of a system is every airport service, like the checking service or the security service, are decomposed in the capability that need to be implemented to provide these airport services. And every capability then is defined on how it's going to be implemented through people. Sometimes will be some equipment, or sometimes software. One of the key value that you see in taking an approach of the system is really moving from a silo data centric organization to more business process centric organization. This does not mean that you need to migrate your environment from a silo to a system, but rather integrate, build your system and integrate your current environment into a system approach, which for me, it's one of the foundation of becoming a smart airport. The second value that I would like to highlight here is let's take an example, for example, the airport service checking system. So it's described, and then you have all the capability that I need to drop. Having a system approach give you the capability now to run different simulations. So I can, for example, want to introduce a new capability like face recognition into my system. You can then inject this new capability in my system and simulate how this new capability will impact my overall service, but also the overall entire airport operation system. So having a system approach gives you the capability to analyze and simulate how my system will behave when introducing new technology. You can also inject into the system IoT information and see how my system is going to behave, but also validate the requirements against my system to see how my system is performing and providing answer to my uh, airport requirement. So really having a system approach give you a holistic perspective of what's happening in your airport at any time and be able to really adjust and optimize the system to help you to perform, uh, to improve your operation efficiency, but also look how you can automate some of the processes and we become more and more smart. Here, a quick demo on an airport system. Very simple, very high level. What you see here is the operational viewpoint of the passenger journey to be able to get to the airport and take a flight. It also describes the entry point into the airport system. Without those, there would not be an input to the airport system. Now, what I want to do is drill down and describe the airport systems. You can see here what are the key systems that you can find in the airport. And what I would like to do now is introduce a new system. In our case, it will be the self-baggage drop system. And what I want to do now is to analyze by introducing this new system, what will be the impact in my passenger journey. So I have different scenarios. The first scenario you can see here is a passenger already did the check-in, don't want to, it's don't have to drop any baggage and go directly to security. The second scenario is my passenger already did check-in, have a baggage to drop and go to security and all, etc., etc. So now you describe all your scenario, and then you can analyze the impact of introducing this new system into my passenger journey. So to conclude, a system, we describe a system. So what is a system of systems? So there are two, for me, two level of system of system. The first one, as we just mentioned in the video, is more hierarchical, where you find the top services and then go drill down the subsystem. Like I have my airport services, then I go to my subsystem, which will be baggage. But you need to understand that you don't need to start from the airport services. You can only focusing on the baggage service system. For example, we are currently working on an airport on only the baggage system. So you don't need to go and start from the high level. You can go directly to one of the subsystems. So this is one way to see a system of systems. The second is a system can be also a network of systems. And the easy way to explain is a vertiport. So in the advanced air mobility, an airport called a vertiport. And a vertiport have a strong a strong dependency on the system because you need to provide the right level of services in the vertiport. So if I need to wait for a taxi more than an hour, I'm losing all the benefit of what is advanced air mobility providing. So in the integration of the vertiport system into the city system is crucial. So you can also look on the system of system in terms of network of systems. Back to you, Doug.
Great, thanks, Isaac. We have about 12 minutes left to go through questions. I think we have four prepared questions that we wanted to go through. Let's start with you, Isaac, just to follow up with your presentation. Where do you start if you wanted to minimize the risk, cost, and time to value in implementing an airport digital twin? Where would you suggest starting?
So I would like to bring 2 points to this question. The first one, I think, as mentioned, what is very important is to identify what are the key challenges of the airport and where we have the most return on investment. This is where you want to start, because having the possibility to demonstrate the value of the digital twin early in the process, it's key benefit of success of a digital twin implementation. The second is, don't underestimate the adoption of a new implementation like a digital twin. So working with the user and ensuring the adoption of the user of the digital twin implementation is crucial in your approach.
Thanks, Isaac. Kelly, you got thoughts?
Yeah, definitely, as Isaac was saying, the assessment of business needs, the financial impact of the use cases or capabilities, but also looking a little beyond that on existing infrastructure and the complexity of a project and the time it would take to deploy, and the current data quality that you have in place. So some of the things you can implement a little bit further up are on the standards and governance side to prepare yourself. But then that use case that you pick to deploy, picking something that you can deploy relatively quickly with have a clear ROI and clear adoption is really important, because that'll be the catalyst for the next project.
Super. Mike, thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, starting off with the proper business objective, as Isaac and Kelly mentioned, and then aligning that to a specific use case. And then I would say, to add on to this, is identifying your current state and then where you want your future state to be. So a gap analysis of sort, and then understanding that'll also give you some more insights into the time it's going to take, and then if that time is worth it to the business objective. So that's all I have to add there.
Great. Moving on to the next one. And Mike, let's just continue with you. How should data governance help support a common data environment, a CDE?
Yeah, thank you, Doug. So I think data governance is a very broad term. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of simplify it down to something more relative to common data environment. So data governance, it's how data is ingested, how data is gathered, and then how that data is structured and organized within an environment. And then where is that data stored and how long is it stored for? So I think those three critical components will provide, the structure and the policy needed for a sound common data environment. And then once you have this common data environment, now this allows you to do the capabilities to start building on that. And that's where you get into a digital twin, and combining system of systems with data. And then also, even to elevate that more, it allows you to start getting into things like generative AI and things of that nature. But it starts with having clean or quality data in an accessible place. And obviously there's security and privacy concerns. But what does data governance look like? What does that mean for an airport? So that could be things like your BIM standards. What does your attribution look like for any design information? That could be your asset management system. Again, how are your assets being indexed and what attribution is going along with that? And then there has to be someone monitoring that data before it's ingested into a common data environment to really leverage that, the capability that provides. I'll end it there.
Great. Kelly?
Yeah, so I'll take a little bit of a subset to what Michael was talking about, and it's about building an open architecture, a system of systems, or a way for data to flow and to be able to understand the ontologies, the classification standards, and the the way that we want to shape data, contextualize data. So from an IoT perspective, one of our key journeys has been normalization of all the IoT data that we have right across the airport. It's a very complex business problem, but once we understand the journey where we want to go and we can set down the standards, we can dictate to vendors how they need to work with us rather than us trying to fit a vendor or us trying to fit into a vendor world. And that really is a freedom, and it gives you an ability to really grow what you're trying to do and do it very quickly. So really having those standards are important so that you can build the governance. And that includes not just a building information or engineering department. It includes IT. It includes your enterprise data strategy team. It includes all those factors because data has to flow throughout the organization.
Thanks, Kelly. Isaac, we've got 6 minutes left. We've got a
Yeah.
lot to go through. Do you have
Very
anything to add
quick.
here?
I think my recommendation in implementing a common data environment, as described before, as soon as you define your standard, you should put a rigorous process in your common data environment and implement this standard to be sure that they will be integrated in your data integration process.
Skip down to here for just a second and ask a question, and I'll let whoever wants to answer it just jump in. And one of them, just an easy question. What can digital twins help to get to net zero airport operations? So that's a sustainability question.
I can take it initially. So a digital twin is going to help you improve the data quality that you have and the relationship with different data sources so that you can calculate returns. So that can be in an airport, something like a perfect turn on an aircraft to reduce jet fuel burn, because we know GPUs and PCAs are turned in. It could be something on a fault detection that we have a strategy around reducing surge pricing and having equipment run more efficiently and when it should. So there's a lot of ways that we can look at a twin to help, but it really comes down to the data and making data-driven decisions based on contextualized data and relating data to other business operations.
I would like to add to that, the digital twin provides you capability of simulation. And for example, in part of the sustainability, noise is very critical. Energy consumption is very critical. And you can simulate using digital twin technology all these elements that are factored into your sustainability in order to improve those factors.
Yeah.
Great. There's some good questions coming in. Go ahead, Mike, if you had something to add there.
No, nothing more to add there. We can move on.
Here's one that just simple answers here, maybe just yes or no. So do you think having a digital twin will be mainstream for all new airports? The chat keeps dropping. We'll just leave it there. You think it's going to become mainstream for all new airports?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Doug. So I feel digital twins is going to be the new chat GPT of the next few years. Just the operational awareness that it provides to an airport is awareness that has never been, realized. And I feel once folks start seeing this, it's going to really take off.
I would like to add to that, as also one of the questions that you have in front of you. Airports are becoming more and more complex, and digital twin can really help help airport to grow the way they want to do within this complexity system.
I think that the question is still out to be really understood, and I think it's our approach to how we pursue a digital twin. And if we get caught into siloed ecosystems where we can't connect to other business systems, or whether we get to an open architecture system of systems, I think the future is for us to pave that way. But it's a strategic strategy, of digital transformation, which we're after. It's not a project you implement and you get your payback. So this is a strategy for how we do business. But there are definitely the opportunities there. But it really will depend. Some of these investments are large, and if we don't make the right strategic moves, people can experience failures and give up too early. So I think with good leadership, good standards, and bodies like the Digital Twin Consortium, we really help to guide people in the right direction.
I think we
I've
have
got,
time for one more question.
yeah. And I'm gonna go for one that's not an easy answer, but it's a very important question, and I think we'll elaborate it more in the paper. But one big hurdle in entering the digital twin journey is building ontologies for the data models used in twins. What is your recommendation on starting? Who should have which role mandate to enter business logic, etc.? Ontologies quickly.
Well, I mean, there's some established ontologies out there. So, rather than tagging things in Haystack or something like that, work with a standard. There are automation methods to apply ontologies as you ingest data. But I'll leave it at that and let the others answer.
I'm going to just put it on this screen just so everybody can read, but get time for one more follow-up to that. If anybody's wants to chime in.
And I guess
Okay.
one last thing I would say is just think about the way we use language in an airport. And does language represent something meaningful that we can implement in terms of relationship to an asset, an entity, or in our case, a space? So the example would be airside, secure side, sterile side, and gate. Those are terms used in work orders every single day, but they're not necessarily written in an as-built or built into an ontology. Those are things we're looking at doing right now.
Once again, thank you for attending, and thank you to Doug of Event Driven Systems for moderating today. And thank you to our speakers, Isaac, Kelly, and Mike, for your excellent presentations. If you are interested in membership and benefits of Digital Twin Consortium, you can learn more at digitaltwinconsortium.org. Thank you and have a wonderful day.